The foundations of American constitutional law. The history of American constitutional law is a tapestry woven from the aspirations, struggles, and triumphs of its people. Rooted in the ideals of liberty, equality, and justice, this narrative traces the evolution of legal principles that have shaped the nation. 1. The Articles of Confederation, 1781. After declaring independence from Britain in 1776, the 13 colonies sought to establish a new form of governance. The Articles of Confederation created a loose alliance among the states, emphasizing state sovereignty over federal power. However, the weaknesses of this framework became evident. Congress lacked the authority to levy taxes, regulate commerce, or enforce laws. This led to economic instability and conflict, highlighting the need for a stronger central government. 2. The Constitutional Convention, 1787. Recognizing the inadequacies of the Articles, delegates convened in Philadelphia in 1787. The debates were intense, reflecting deep ideological divides between Federalists, who advocated for a strong central government, and Anti-Federalists, who feared the erosion of individual liberties. The resulting U.S. Constitution established a federal system, balancing power between the national and state governments. 3. The Bill of Rights, 1791. To address concerns about individual freedoms, the first 10 amendments, known as the Bill of Rights, were ratified in 1791. These amendments guaranteed fundamental rights such as freedom of speech, religion, and the press, and protection against unreasonable searches and seizures. This pivotal addition laid the groundwork for civil liberties in American law. Landmark Supreme Court cases. The interpretation of the Constitution has been profoundly shaped by key Supreme Court decisions. 4. Marbury v. Madison, 1803. This case established the principle of judicial review, enabling the Supreme Court to invalidate laws that conflict with the Constitution. Chief Justice John Marshall asserted that it is emphatically the province and duty of the judicial department to say what the law is. This decision solidified the judiciary's role as a co-equal branch of government, protecting the Constitution from legislative overreach. 5. Dred Scott v. Sandford, 1857. A deeply controversial ruling, Dred Scott v. Sandford denied citizenship to enslaved people and declared the Missouri Compromise unconstitutional. This decision intensified national divisions over slavery and was a catalyst for the Civil War. It exemplified how the court's interpretations could reflect societal biases, leading to profound injustice. The Civil War and Reconstruction. The Civil War, 1861–1865, was a transformative period for American constitutional law, resulting in significant amendments aimed at securing rights for formerly enslaved individuals. 6. The Reconstruction Amendments, 1865–1870, 13th Amendment, 1865, abolished slavery and involuntary servitude. 14th Amendment, 1868, granted citizenship to all persons born or naturalized in the United States, ensuring equal protection under the law. 15th Amendment, 1870, prohibited denying the right to vote based on race. These amendments aimed to rectify the injustices of slavery and laid the foundation for future civil rights advancements. The rise of civil rights. The struggle for civil rights continued long after the Reconstruction era, leading to critical legal battles and legislative changes. 7. Plessy v. Ferguson, 1896. This case upheld the constitutionality of racial segregation under the separate but equal doctrine. The court ruled that segregation did not violate the 14th Amendment, entrenching institutionalized racism. Plessy v. Ferguson legitimized discriminatory practices for decades, illustrating the court's role in perpetuating social injustice. 8. Brown v. Board of Education, 1954, a landmark reversal of Plessy. This case declared that racial segregation in public schools was unconstitutional. The court, led by Chief Justice Earl Warren, recognized that separate educational facilities are inherently unequal. This ruling was a critical moment in the civil rights movement, galvanizing efforts to dismantle segregation. Modern constitutional law. The late 20th and early 21st centuries brought new challenges and interpretations of constitutional law. 9. Roe v. Wade, 1973. This landmark decision recognized a woman's right to choose to have an abortion, citing the right to privacy implied in the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment. Roe v. Wade sparked intense debate over reproductive rights, framing the discourse around bodily autonomy and state interests. 10. Obergefell vs. Hodges, 2015. In this historic case, the Supreme Court ruled that same-sex marriage is a constitutional right, affirming that states could not deny marriage licenses based on sexual orientation. The court's decision underscored the evolving interpretation of equality under the law and the ongoing struggle for LGBTQ+ rights. Conclusion: the history of American constitutional law is a reflection of the nation's ongoing quest for justice and equality. From the establishment of foundational documents to landmark Supreme Court decisions, each chapter illustrates the dynamic interplay between law and society. As new challenges arise, the Constitution remains a living document, adapting to the values and aspirations of the American people. The stories of those who fought for their rights and challenged injustice are integral to understanding the Constitution's significance in shaping a more equitable society. This overview encapsulates key moments and cases that have defined American constitutional law. If you need more detail on any specific topic, feel free to ask.